no. What's up? Hey guys, this is not a fuck you hat. This is a fuck the topic that I'm gonna talk about hat. And it's not because I don't like this topic. I think it's really useful. Oh, by the way, I'm talking about cover letters and resumes today. I think that it's a very helpful topic. Just imagine how I'm gonna somehow make this an entertaining video. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Do you know how? I'm waiting, because if you do, let me know. Like I said, I'm going to be trying to give you as many of my tips and things you should focus on when you are making your resume and your cover letter to make sure that you are set up for success when you are applying for jobs, like I know you guys are, you busy cats. It's also come to my attention that unless you are in business school like me, you did not have a dedicated class that taught you how to write a resume and a cover letter, so you're probably frantically Googling how to make effective ones. But save your Googling because I'll do it for you, or at least give you some decent advice that you may have been lacking because you didn't have an entire course on it. Okay. Anyways, the things that I'm talking about in this video are things that I was taught by actual professionals who read resumes and cover letters. So for once I'm not bullshitting myself through an entire video, you are welcome. Let's start. First things first, you probably already know, but it's important to be consistent and to pay attention to detail. Everything must be the same. I'm talking formatting, I'm talking about the layout of your of your cover letter and your resume. I'm talking about the way you write the date beside every experience, the font that you use, the spacing, the margins, everything must be the same. It's all about professionalism. It's all about making sure that you paid attention to every single detail on your resume and your cover letter, because as soon as one thing sticks out, that's all the person that's reading your resume and reading your cover letter is gonna think of. That means make sure all your indentation is the same. If you make experiences bold, you better bold all of them. The way you use your commas, italices. I'm talking even the hyphens between the dates. You know how sometimes if you put a hyphen and then you space, it turns into a big hyphen? If it's a big hyphen for one, it better be a big hyphen for all of them. You get the point. Make sure everything is exactly the same. One of the things that people forget about is dates. When you're putting the dates beside your experiences or beside your schooling, the months should also be consistent. And what I mean by this is, are you writing the month fully, like April to November, or are you shortening it? Because if you're shortening it, you gotta pick whether you're gonna do 3 letters, 2 letters, 4 letters, and make sure that every month you write is in that format. Because as much as it doesn't matter to us, it apparently matters to professionals if you are not consistent with the way that you are shortening, abbreviating, and writing literally everything on your resume. Next thing is proofread, proofread, proofread. And yes, I mean proofread yourself, but that is not good enough because you wrote the damn thing and you are gonna read everything once, twice, 3 times, and it's all gonna jumble into this one blob of your life story, and you're not gonna be able to pick out where the errors are. So get your mom to proofread it, your grandmom, your neighbor, your professor, some random on the street, the person who delivers your mail. Anybody who is willing to read it, you better give it to them, because they are going to be the ones that are gonna catch your little stupid mistakes that you missed because you thought you were perfect. Hiring managers are looking for any reason to toss your application aside. As soon as they see a spelling error, a grammatical error, a formatting error, they're gonna be like, nope, that's it, done with them. Unless you are the only person who applied or you have the most incredible experience that they just couldn't pass up on you. But unless you are Michelle Obama, they are gonna toss you aside just because you spell extracurricular wrong. All I'm saying is please don't let the reason that they toss you aside be because of inconsistency, grammatical errors, spelling errors, and you being too lazy to have people look through it for you. Next thing is more specific to an actual resume and the way that you want to word things under your experiences. Everyone knows the kind of format, or you can just download a template on Word about how a resume should be structured, you know, like profile, school, work experience, extracurricular, those kinds of things. But what they don't teach you in a lot of places is how to actually write the little subdescription under the work experiences that you've had. Most people think that you're just supposed to write your role or what you did or the skills that you used when you were in each position, which is fine, but I was actually taught to write it a little differently. The format of each supporting piece under a given work experience is a little backwards to what you may think. Now, before you get confused, let me finish explaining and then I'll try and give you examples so that it's a little bit more clear. Bear with me, I'm doing my best. You're starting it with a strong verb that explains the result that happened, that goes into the actions that you did to achieve that result. Did that make even a little bit of sense? What I'm trying to say is when people are looking through your resume, they want to be able to see all the things that you achieved, all the things that you succeeded at. So it's really important to put that at the beginning of your statements below each experience, followed by the actual things that you did to get there. So let me give you some examples because that was a little bit confusing. Some of the strong verbs that you can use to describe the result that you got are things like awarded or nominated or promoted, and then you would follow it with the actual result. So if you're saying awarded Top Sales of the Year award, or nominated for Employee of the Month, or promoted to this new position, you want to start off with the verb, the result, and then you go into the actions. So it could be promoted to this new role by demonstrating willingness to learn, taking on new challenges, being an excellent multitasker, blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of the format that you want to follow when you're describing the achievements that you got per each experience that you have. Hopefully that made sense. If not, leave a comment and I will clear it up for you, okay? Next thing is flexibility. Each employer, position, job, application that you're applying for is going to require a different type of voice, a different type of execution, and your resume and cover letter should reflect that. You should show that you understand what position and what company that you're applying for by the way that you display your resume, your cover letter, your application, so that the people that are looking through it can see that you're a good match and can already tell that you did your research in making sure that you know the position that you're applying for and the company that you want to work for. So for example, if you're applying to a creative job, make sure that your resume and cover letter reflects a creative, fun, maybe even using a colloquial voice so that you can show that you have that creative, fun, lighthearted aspect to yourself while also still being professional. Or if you're applying for more of a serious job, you can make sure that your cover letter is very structured and very technical and specific and professional. And this will just kind of showcase all of the things that you've achieved in your past in a way that shows that you're a good fit for the company and the role that you're applying for. Yes, an employer wants to know that you have the skills that they want for that specific role, but they're also investing in people who align with their company culture. But at the end of the day, it's the company culture that is going to make employees want to stay with them. It's going to increase employee satisfaction. It's going to lessen the turnover rate. So they want to make sure that they're hiring people that align with that culture so that they're not having to replace them or overtrain them to understand that culture later down the line. You've heard the saying, walk the walk, talk the talk. The same thing goes for when you're applying to jobs. If you notice that a company uses a specific kind of jargon or lingo or tone, then make sure that you're reflecting that in your application. Write like they write, talk like they talk, walk like they walk. You get it. There's nothing worse than thinking you can send the exact same cover letter and exact same resume to every single company or role or application that you're applying for, because at the end of the day, each role and each company is different and a strong application will reflect that. Last thing I want to talk about is to add some sort of pizzazz into your cover letter and resume. Maybe not so much for resume because that's really just a list of your experience and like a Spark Notes version of who you are as a person. But your cover letter is a place where you can add some personality, you can showcase who you are, talk a little bit more about things that aren't necessarily work related so that an employer can not only feel that they know you on a professional level but also a personal level. Just imagine being a hiring manager and having to sift through tens or hundreds of applications and resumes and cover letters. I mean, do you think that's a fun job? Because I don't think that's a fun job. So do your best to stand out because it's going to catch their attention when they're looking through a huge chunk of applicants. So whether or not you incorporate creativity in your format or the way you structure your cover letter, including a story at the beginning or adding a bit of humor to your application, show your personality as best as you can so that you can humanize your application and make some sort of connection with somebody who is potentially reading it and probably falling asleep because they are looking through so many goddamn applications. All I'm saying is you better jazz that shit up, fam. Okay, we did it. We got through this super technical video about cover letters and resumes, and I hope it wasn't the most boring video ever. Please let me know if you like videos like this, because again, I mean, I went to business school and they fed me all this information, so why not just link it on the internet, you know? And if you don't, let me know too. But that is it. If you made it to the end, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe if you want, and I will hopefully see you in my next one. Bye!